Welcome back to your number one podcast. This is Underrated Profession. I'm Mr. Sauls, aka Mikestro.
I'm Alton Mitchell, aka Quick
in the building.
William Graham, aka the Big Fundamentals.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So before we start, we want them to like, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified.
Yes, sir.
Make sure. So what we got today for him, Mr. Mitchell?
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out because y'all might have already seen the first couple episodes that we always mention.
Yeah.
This gentleman, we have an honor to have him here today. You know, he's a busy man, so we're glad to have him here, Mr. Quick. So y'all think y'all think we're just making up a person.
Right,
you know
right. He's here.
You see, he's real. So we just been holding it down for him while we getting these test pilot episodes in here.
Right.
So we appreciate y'all hanging in. We're glad to have him in the building. So we'll be seeing him in and out. You know, so like I said, busy. We all busy, but we're glad we was able to get this one in. So you'll be seeing Mr. Quick in the building because it's a 3-man show. So we got the team rocking right now. So
great to be here too. With Mr. Sauls and Mr. AKA. He has so many. But it's a great podcast. We definitely got a great show for you today.
Yeah.
What is the topic?
the topic is mental health.
Barbers
and mental health. Before we get started, I do got to say, how y'all fellas doing though? Y'all good?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Feeling real good.
Yeah. Well, we all I forgot to mention we here on location here at the Wake Tech Public Safety Campus here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So just want to make sure we give a shout out to our location.
Yes, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? We might find us at a shop or a school near you.
That's right.
And you know what we do here? We inform, we educate, and we celebrate the barbering field. So that's what we're talking about today, mental health. Well, you want to start off?
So this is a tough one, yo. Like, this is a real, I don't know about y'all, but I know preparing for, staying true to the school format, we had to make sure we did some homework for this episode.
Right.
But I know for me, I don't know about y'all. I know it was this was a very interesting. I know it might be a little deep for some folks, but,
right? It was a little challenging for me too, to come up with
mental health. But I think it's a very important topic.
And it is.
What you think, Mr.
I totally agree. I think we first gotta definitely understand what is it.
Okay.
Right.
I look at it more as a something that is more involved in our daily life now. We have kids now, about the generation now.
Right.
Communication with the phones and so forth. So we first got to know what is mental health. Mr. Sauls, what do you think mental health is?
For me just to put it in my own words, mental health, I think it starts internally. It starts with the person, because you got to love yourself, and if you don't love yourself, I think that's what can turn into the mental health situations, with not loving yourself or not feel like you've been loved.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And like the whole world is against you, type of thing.
Good point.
That's my little take on it.
Well, I think that's a good point. Also, with you saying that, it's actually part of the mental health. With it being a part of emotional, like you said, the emotional, loving yourself and so forth. What about your point of it?
Man, so this was, like I said, this was so many layers to it with the mental health, because I know it's looking at it from a barber perspective, we so sometimes caught up on our customers and we don't think about it for ourselves. But mental health, I would think mental health is when it could be when you're not emotionally, like you said, mentioned like emotionally, right? But I think sometimes the mental health can be, like lack of confidence, or it could be hereditary, I think, right? It could be something that could be handed out. You may have mental health and may not even know you have a mental health. Depending on what type of, upbringing or what kind of environment you're in. Is it even mental health even discussed? Because we know there's real talk in the black community, we know a lot of times we
rarely talk about it.
Yeah. So,
seriously.
But yeah, I know you did a deeper homework on it, so I'm curious to see what
I know he about to hit us with some.
We've been saving him for you for a reason. It's going down, brother.
But seriously, you know, we all joke and play, but with us knowing that we as instructors and you as students and you as our audience,
Right.
we deal with so much day to day. Mr. Graham was saying, Ms. Sauls was saying, life is hard.
Yeah.
Let's first by saying that. Okay. So mental health is dealing with our social, psychological, our emotions. That's everything involved with mental health. So first we got to look at it, is it acute or chronic?
Okay.
Right? So the small factors we deal with the mild, moderate,
Right.
and of course the
Right.
major. Right?
Right.
So mental health, we want to look at it in where is it at in our location. Of course, if it's not affecting us, somewhere else is not going to affect us.
Right.
It's in our location, in our confines, and it's definitely going to affect us.
Yes.
We want to know. So
Yes.
with North Carolina, we want to look at the statistics. And right now, from 2019 to 2020, we're actually above average on our mental health cases, which means that the United States average is 31%. We're about 35%. And that means cases are
Just North
confirmed.
Carolina, about
Wow.
North Carolina
35%. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're
Wow.
above average with our mental health issues.
Wow.
So this is something we definitely want to talk about and something we want to bring to the forefront.
Right.
Wow.
And like you were saying earlier, like about what was the age groups that you were saying? Like,
Right.
what 12 was? We was 12 to
12 to 17.
12 to 17.
Right.
That's
Adolescents, that's about 16.7%. Which adults, we're about 8%.
Right.
cases. So mental health in the 12 to 17 age
Yeah.
range is big right now.
yeah.
Wow.
And like you were saying as well, like you know, the younger generation, they're not talking, they're not getting stuff off the chest, so we won't know
Right.
if they what type of issues they having, you
Right.
know. So
Right.
so that's why this.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
curious.
why we
when
having
you
this
brought-
today, you
Yeah,
know?
I brought that up.
So-
I was curious about it. And so, if you're wondering, barbers and students, and you know, just like you said, audience in general that's watching this episode, you know, one reason why I think was feeling that it's important that I didn't say earlier why we should talk about mental health because as professionals, you know, we need to, you know, like something I tell our students, you know, we have to, you know, we want to make sure we look out for clients, or we want to take care of our customers, but we also got to make sure we take care of ourselves as well.
that.
So having this, you know, this discussion and this dialogue, I think is important for us as an industry because we have a tendency to be superheroes to customers,
Right.
and we don't want to have this conversation about mental health, right?
Right.
Even though there's some, Saul, I think you mentioned something about that you saw that there was different programs out there that are they're partnered with.
Oh
like
yeah,
some of
yeah.
the-
It was actually in Mississippi. They got mental health training for barbers, and they also got mental health services for the barbers as well too, if they need it.
Right.
And it was a barbershop in Mississippi. Just read up on that. And I guess we need it here. You know, we need it here,
Right.
and it's through the health department too. So you know,
Right.
so we need it here. We need it here. Start with us first, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. The contributing factors is we gotta talk about those. And I
Yeah.
remember we was talking about one of the contributing factors where we talk about our students, and we like to bring up our stories and testimonies. Mr. Graham,
Right.
great testimonies. I remember you talking about a student who you had one time, and he had so many anxiety issues. You know, it was hard for him to grasp on the barbering thing. So that might be a
Yeah.
contributing factor as well.
Right. So what we're gonna do is we got to go to a commercial break real quick. We'll be right back, and we're gonna dive deeper into this topic.
All right, we're back. We're back for the break. So don't forget, like, subscribe. Click that bell to be notified now.
Bing.
You know. So Mitchell,
Yes, sir.
well, just try to pick up where we left off. You know, like people are really dying.
Well, they are, but we want to still talk about the contributing factors.
Okay.
Okay.
They are dying. Before we lead to that, we want to talk about the factors that lead to mental illness.
Okay.
Right.
Anxiety,
Yeah.
depression, you all hear about it.
Yeah.
Mood disorders, schizophrenia, which we sometimes haven't heard in a while, but all these are contributing factors, mental illness. So we want to remember that when you have contributing factors, mental illness, you will have situations where they want to mask it.
Right.
When we say mask it, what do? We want to put something on it to take it away.
Try to hide it.
Temporary fix. So that's when we deal with illicit drugs. And we know about opioids.
Yeah.
Opioids is big out here.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And you got a fact from Cary, North Carolina.
Yeah.
What's going on in opioids in Cary?
It's a high rate of people, overdosing in Cary, North Carolina from the opioids. Like you were just saying, like probably stealing them, but they kids though. They're probably taking them from their grandparents or something like that, and overdosing.
And what we don't know is last year, Graham, it was 72,000 people that died from opioids.
Wow.
This year alone, 98,000.
Wow. Just this year.
Just this year.
Do you think some of it has to do with, I know we had a guest that came by the school to visit. The students were doing a school, Barber came by. She did a school visit, and she mentioned how she noticed that there was people still suffering or still having effects of COVID.
Oh.
Like, do you think COVID might have helped kind of contribute to some of that too, like some of the medical? Because I know she said she had noticed that some of her customers were still dealing with COVID, and it was like kind of like, kind of like the customers were having a hard time communicating. They lost some communication skills,
right?
Due to being shut in and stuff like that. Just being, the anxiety of being around people again,
right?
Worried about people again. I would think some of that might contribute.
That's a good point. It's funny you say that. Not to cut you off. So
okay, that's fine.
Pre-pandemic is what you're talking about. The pre-pandemic, before COVID, and this was hard for me to understand, but they said it was not that much difference.
Wow.
They said it wasn't that much different.
Wow. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, I know some people know, definitely, COVID was not, affected people differently, and I definitely give my condolences to people who have lost someone during COVID. Right. But I know for me, COVID was, it was a blessing for me in the sense that it gave me opportunity to be a little close to my family and stuff. So
true.
I got more time to spend with family, even though the kids were wearing me to death though.
Right.
But my mental health right there. Just, I do know that it gave me time to be with some families. I think they were saying early on there was like relationships that was falling apart because some people weren't used to being around
each other all the time.
So
that's right.
But yeah, that's interesting. They said that so a true definition of mental health. I guess we're saying here the COVID situation has a mental health to it, but it's not like a true COVID, like the true mental health, like you're saying, like the statistics. So the numbers not changing.
The disheartening thing, like you was asking me before, what you asked me, people dying.
People really dying from this.
Right. That's the disheartening thing about it because suicide is the #1 leading cause of death. So they're definitely dying in enormous rates. 3 out of 10 in 2019, which was 10 years ago, 1 out of 10 suicide. So mental health is strong.
Yeah.
I believe you have a small testimony.
Yeah. And as we know, we tell our students, and as barbers, we're not licensed, physicians and things of that nature. But why this topic again? If someone is asking, why are we even having this discussion? And like I said earlier before the break, I think it's extremely important for us because we don't know what people are dealing with when they come into the shops.
True that.
You may have somebody that may be having a mental breakdown, and they can, shoot the shop up or something, or they can, or they may just be having a particular bad day. We don't know. I know, and as we listening, as I'm listening to some of the, your statistics here, and as we have this discussion, it reminded me of a client just recently that that had a situation where they lost their child, and his son was 20. In his mid-20s, and it was interesting because I had to figure out. I was nervous. I probably was more nervous about servicing him because I didn't know how to have or should I even have a conversation, right, or staying away from it, right, or do I ignore it? And come to find out, it turned out I think he actually was kind of he led the conversation. I think he really wanted to talk about it. And one thing he said, make sure you tell your child you love them. You know what I'm saying? Because you just never, as a parent, you never could picture yourself going before your child. And so he was expressed to me, and I can actually tell physically that how he was saying that he hasn't been sleeping. And I would say the time he came and got a haircut was probably maybe a month after he had sent me, because he actually, which I was surprised, he actually included me on this chain of people he was like notifying that it was an unfortunate loss in his family. And so that was tough. Just even emotionally for me cutting his hair, it was like I wind up getting emotionally tied into it more than I thought, because by me being a parent. Right. And as soon as he said, like, oh, I wouldn't even imagine, I'm going before my child. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't sleeping. He said him and his wife haven't been sleeping. He said the hardest thing was packing up his furniture, his clothes. Yeah. So you see, revisiting it. And I think, we all unfortunately might experience losing someone.
But I also feel that him just speaking about it is helping him. Yeah. Because like you keep stuff bottled up in you, that's when you explode, that ticking time bomb. But it was good that he's getting it out. Right. Talking to, because maybe his wife needs to talk to somebody too. Like, but it's hard, man.
That's kind of what that was the takeaway for me, that it looked like, it seemed like, at least I felt like I did my little part that give him an opportunity to be able to vent. Right. And share it. And and unfortunately, as long as we've been in it, unfortunately, I've experienced, have customers who have lost a parent and things like that, which is no worse or whatever than the other. It was just the first time in my career that I experienced, at least someone that has told me, because that's another thing. I always like to challenge students, and even challenge barbers. How many of y'all probably think you might have known someone that might have wanted to kill themselves before they came? You may not even know. That's why it's important that we set our environment up to a person to come. Like I have this thing where I want customers to be able to leave whatever drama they got going on outside the shop when they come in the shop. That's what I used to think. But actually, we need to be trying to make them feel better to go back out and not leave it at the door. Right. You know what I'm saying? Getting that help.
So Mitchell, how would I talk to somebody? Like, how would I talk? How can I get somebody to talk about it? What's my approach? What should be my approach?
Good question. Very compelling story, Mr. Grant. First off, that mental health conversation is rough because we sometimes have to channel ourselves to not to be ourselves.
Okay.
We sometimes as men, and this is a conversation us men have to have with ourselves. We got to get the bravado out. The gorilla.
Yeah.
That macho,
You gotta let that go.
That pride.
Let that go.
And pride. The key is it's gentle. You want to start with an expression of care.
Okay.
Followed by an observation. I care about you, and I've noticed you haven't been yourself lately.
Right.
You want to talk about it? You just don't seem like yourself.
Right.
I'm concerned about you.
Right.
We want to remember, you want to normalize mental health by talking about it directly. If you avoid it, that's when they're going to avoid it.
Right.
That's when they tend to isolate themselves. Stay in the room. You don't see them much.
Right.
They tend to don't talk as much. Eating habits are to the bare minimum.
Would you say this would even apply to barbers looking out for fellow barbers or your coworkers?
Yeah.
It would be the same thing, right? Can the
Totally
same apply?
Yes, totally agree. Just because we are barbers and we seem like we can take on the world, as Mr. Grant was saying, Grant was saying earlier, which, that's just a facade. We go through life. Sometimes life challenges us different.
Yeah.
With us being a different person and a different version of a barber, we're still a person. So we want to acknowledge that and also have that conversation sometimes.
Yes.
The best thing is to make something uncomfortable comfortable. So, of course, this is uncomfortable in the beginning. Who wants to talk about mental illness and someone going off and feeling like they have suicidal thoughts?
But like you said, you got to you got to let the person know that you care. Like that's why I'm coming at you like this because I really care and I love you. You know, just let the person know that you love them, and and hopefully they trust you enough to open up to you. You know about that. You know, I think that if you do let them know that you care and that you love them, they'll be really open to talking about it if it affects them.
Right. So we gotta take one more break, you know, because we gotta get this bread. So we gotta take one more for the sponsors. You know what I'm saying? But,
Get this bread, man.
but we're gonna wrap this thing up in 1 second. We just gotta go to another break. We're gonna wrap things up, and y'all stay tight.
there.
Don't go nowhere.
See y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Like I said again, now I'm gonna keep telling y'all to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified. All right.
Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. This has been a great discussion. I hope you all has been enjoying this so far. We plan on bringing some more content like this to you all. Please, again, like we say, make sure you like and subscribe. If there's anything you want us to hear, want us to discuss and talk about, leave it down in the description, in the comments area. So, you know, we do like to look at them and, you know, give us some show ideas. Everything that we discussed so far will be also in the down in the comments description area as well. So, you know, so I think we want to wrap things up with just talking about resources that's available out there, and our final thoughts. And you know, let's go from there.
Well, my final thoughts, I would like to say, like, just love yourself. You know, love yourself, man. That's really what breaks down all, like, love, man. Just love yourself, people. I can't express that enough, you know, and because I love myself. I love Mr. Mitchell. I love Mr. Graham over here. I love. So I feel that
you got that ditty. You got that ditty. You got that ditty going on right now.
I love. You know what I'm saying? I love.
So right now, that's love right there. That love right there.
I don't have too much mental stress because I love, man. You know, seriously, I love, man. I'm always happy. I'm loving. You know. So that's what I feel like. If a person that's seriously though out there having problems, like just stop. And love yourself. Love yourself. Just know somebody loves you, man.
That's big.
That's right. You know?
Yeah. Good word. Good word.
Men or women, for that matter. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Let's jot this down. Those of us that are home in North Carolina, we're talking to our people in North Carolina. North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Pull it up. Website, they're out there. You can look for your location and your proximity, your city or town nearest you.
Yep.
ncdhhs.com.
And anybody that's out of state, anybody watching out of state, or just around the world, just whatever local municipality, government, agency, department of health, you know, definitely start there, and they'll work you and they'll usually help you find whatever resources in your town or your city the closest to you. But also again, I want to thank you all for tuning again, listening. I think this was a great episode. You know, barbers, stylists, everybody, make sure that you know, we stay on top of our mental health so we could be able to stay on top of our clients' mental health, right? You know what I'm saying?
Because we are kind of like shrinks, you know. People tell us everything.
The Psychology Today magazine had an article that said that barbers and hairstylists are the cheapest therapists there are.
I'm telling you. People tell us everything.
Because people get the chance to sit in the chair. And the way the article, make a long story short, said that basically what happens if you think about it, you know, someone is sitting in the chair, they had their back to you, they're not listening to you, and they have an opportunity to be able to talk. And so that's why they said that, like, the chair represents if they were sitting down having therapy. Therapist.
Okay.
And then we're just listening. So we are the cheapest therapists available. So
we are.
You know what I'm saying? But but with that being said, though, make sure you get some help. Make sure you barbers and stylists now. We ain't licensed now.
Right.
You're over there trying to call yourself having a clinic in the shop. But if you do, like Sauls mentioned earlier, there's some different the Department of Health and other agencies. You can also partner with them. I would definitely encourage that. You know, partner with some of the local mental health agencies or groups. Maybe your shop can be a great asset for being able to target that that area. And also, I want to give a shout out to another podcast I'm on Guilty by Association. We actually talked about black men in mental health. You can check that out. You can find that on YouTube as well. And I think it was a great episode, fellas. I guess we gotta get to the shop, get this paper. I think you got to celebrate. Your brother did big things today. You know what I'm saying? Got a CDL joints. So we got to salute. We got to salute cats when they doing successful things, great things.
Right.
What's the word now? What's your boy doing? So we got to give out the flowers. Gotta
get the flowers while you still here.
While you still here.
Gotta get the flowers while you still here.
Tell them our objectives again, Sauls. What's our objectives for our podcast?
So for our part, we
Underrated.
Oh, underrated professional? No. What? Let me see. Let me look
Go ahead,
at
break it down. Give it to
Let me break it down.
Give me your breakdown. I want your breakdown.
My break. Hold on. Let me get my,
now give it from love. Now I want you to give it from a love perspective.
Okay. So we inform, we educate, and we celebrate the barber profession. So that's our objective right there, y'all.
Just make sure you remember to learn, stay refreshed, and continue growing.
And love yourself, man. Love yourself.
So next time.
All right.
All right. We did it.
Men together.